So today, I'm going to be speaking on my experience on how I built my following, mostly on YouTube, even though you all voted for Instagram, but we're still going to be going through different techniques and ways that I've used in growing the audience. This is my current following. As you can see, probably why I lost the debate yesterday, I don't really like Instagram very much. But we still do it and we have fun. Just a quick background on me. I was born and raised in the US. When I was 19, I moved to Thailand, and I have lived there for the last 12 years. All of my content is in the Thai language, it's not in English. And I do lifestyle, I do vlogs, we've done pretty much everything, as I'll be talking about more in this presentation. And let's get into it. Our strategies for growth from 10,000 to 20 million. So I split it up into 10 steps that I think everybody can do easily within their social media. And being straight up honest, it might be a little bit boring because these are things that I'm sure everybody has been talking about for the last few days, and it's things you've heard online. So in order to not be bored, there's a picture of me and my cat. He's a cute little guy, his name's Cairo. Yeah, let's just throw that in there so it won't be too boring. Next thing, growth isn't luck, it is intentional. It's not just going to happen. Your channel or your social medias aren't just going to explode from nowhere. It's something that you work on, that you put the grind in, and you work daily to make that growth happen. And there's another picture of me and my cat. He's cute. His name's Cairo. So my first step, the first step that I think is most important when you're trying to gain followers and get a bigger audience is your mindset. It's a mindset shift. Your long-term growth isn't going to happen overnight. So what you need to do is focus on what your goals are in the long term and speak like that. Here's a picture of me in the car. This is the car that we drive around. And I remember when I very first started, I was driving in a car with my girlfriend's mom, and she was asking me questions. She's like, what are you going to do in the future if you don't make it? And I remember distinctly that day in the car, I told her, that's not an option. I'm going to make it happen. She's like, are you sure? Because this is 12 years ago when being a content creator wasn't a full-time job. It wasn't very well known, especially over in Thailand. So she said, do you have any backup plans? You know, she's a mother. She's worried about her daughter. She was asking questions. What are you going to do? And I remember distinctly, I'm going to make it happen. And I told her that. I said, looked her in the eye, I'm going to make it happen. You can trust me. And so with that, I think the most important thing as you make content is to have the right mindset. And at the end of the slide, thanks. At the end of the slide, you probably think I'm going to show you a picture of my cat again. I'm not. I'm going to show you a picture of my other cat. There he is. He's a cute little guy. So I have 2 cats. Okay, let's go on. So as you are trying to change your mindset, as you make your content, I think there's something very important. Let's use the analogy of the world. If we are here in Singapore and we're going to fly around the world along the equator, what happens if our course is off by just 1 or 2 degrees? Here's a protractor. So let's say, obviously, if you're off course by 40 degrees, you're going to end up somewhere else. But what if you're off just 1 degree as you fly around the whole world? What's going to happen? Where are you going to finish? This is 1 degree right here on the red line. If you're just 1 small degree as you fly off, what happens? You'll be off by over 800 kilometers. From here in Singapore, that's Brunei, another country. So if your course is off by 3 degrees, you'll be off by 2,400 kilometers. That would put you in Bangladesh. So as you're making your goals for what you want to do in the future, what your goals are for how many followers, whether it's from 10,000 to 50,000 or 10,000 to 1 million or 10 million or 20 million, whatever your goals are, make sure you're on course and you're not off by a matter of few degrees, because in the long run, those small degrees right now will have a huge effect. My second thing, goals. Super important. These are SMART goals. I'm sure many people have heard about these. You don't want to just set random goals. You want to have them to be SMART, which is an acronym for specific. When you have a goal, I want to have followers. Okay, how many? Do you want 10? Do you want 100, 1 million? So you need to make it measurable. So as I'm talking today, we said the goal was 20 million. So you have a number that can be measured. Because if it's just a random goal, you can't measure it. You don't know whether you're making progress or not. The third one for the A is attainable. It needs to be something that you can actually do. If you set a goal today, I want 20 million followers, and you want it by the end of the year, I don't know what you're gonna do, because if you can make it 20 million by the end of the year, you're amazing. So make sure you can attain it, make sure it's relevant, and make sure it's time bound. A goal not written down is only a dream. Here's an example of my goals when I first started my channel. I have a huge Excel sheet, and this is just from my own personal experience. At the time, there was no YouTube, there was no TikTok, and Instagram wasn't really that big. So my goals at the time, I broke them down. I wanted a view with 1 million views, a video with 5 million, 10 million, and then I broke down when I was going to get those subscriber milestones. I had it clear vision in my head how I'm going to get to my goals. I really truly believe this is something very important, to write down your goals, and you need to be responsible for your goals. And if you don't write them down, it's just a dream. My third step for making content and growing your audience is content king. I'm sure you guys hear that all of the time. For me, I don't think content is king. I think consistency is king. And they've been driving that point here at the summit. Consistency is key. It's so much more important than making the big bangers. Everybody wants to have those videos that just go crazy, that get all the views, but it's not going to happen overnight. But as you are consistently making content on the various platforms, you know what works, you know what doesn't work, you can adjust, and you can keep improving on your content. So I'm going to give you a quick example of one of the videos I thought in my head, this is going to destroy. This thing's going to just get so many views. I worked hard. We put all the science. We put a lot of budget into it. I was like, oh, dude, this one's going to kill it. And then it didn't turn out as planned because I was so focused on just content being king. I spent so much time on it that I didn't focus on keeping consistent and uploading more videos. Here's a quick one. Let's see. As you can see, I enjoyed the video, and I was convinced this video was gonna go big. I was convinced it was gonna go big. Sorry, there's one more angle. I think. Okay. Oh, there's one last one because this is just so cool. Okay. So as you can see, I was convinced this thing was going to go big. I was so focused on the content is king. And when I posted it, it was the worst of my last 20 videos. And I was so focused on content is king, content is king. I spent all this time on it that when it didn't go the way that I planned, I was kind of down. I was like, dang it, now I'm going to have to spend more time or more money on making another video and doing all these other things. But I forgot that consistency is more important. I made the video, it didn't do as well as I planned. That's okay. Let's move on and make the next video and keep going. And for example, the next video we made, it didn't have all this planning. Me and my friends sat in a house and just had fun for 24 hours, and that one just absolutely killed it. So if I was so focused on making sure that all I did was make the biggest video, make the best possible video, spend all my time on the editing and everything else, personally for me, I feel like it's not worth it as much as it is making more content, being consistent, and uploading. Because with that, you can experiment and adapt. So after that first video I posted on YouTube didn't do too well, I made a few changes, I edited it, I reposted it onto TikTok, and it ended up getting almost 20 million views. So as I learned, being more consistent. Didn't work this way? Let's make a few changes, let's repost it. If it doesn't work, let's repost it. I truly believed in that video, I knew it was gonna go good, and it eventually did. But if I was so focused on that one thing, it's not gonna work out. And as we experiment and adapt, we can see different formats, different platforms. We'll get different views, we'll get different feedback. So here's just a quick 1 year on my channel. There's ups, there's downs. Don't expect everything to be linear. It's not always gonna be going up. On your content journey, you've got ups, you've got downs. You've got times where the videos are bangers, you've got times where it's not going too well. So just keep going. Consistency is key. I just want to drive that point. It's so important to keep going. My fifth of the 10 steps, make content that connects. Pretty simple. whether it's education, entertainment, just try to make it shareable content. You'll get more reach, you'll get more following. And I showed you my first cat, I showed you my second cat, and here's a picture of my third cat. I didn't just randomly show you guys pictures of my cats from the beginning to not make it boring. I showed it to you so you knew more about me. There was more connection as I was presenting here, and I would recommend that you do that with your content as well. Find ways to connect with the audience, because those real connections are what is going to make you have a greater following in the future. You can get views, but just views isn't enough. You want to make a following. You want to connect with your audience. My sixth step, consistency is key. I know I've said it twice, but I'm being consistent, and I'm telling you again, consistency really is key, because we are what we repeatedly do. So excellence then is not an act, it's a habit. We need to be consistent. We want to make it our habit as we are making our content. Number 7, collaboration. Work with creators of all sizes. I know a lot of people, even myself in the beginning, I wanted to collaborate with bigger creators. My goal was always, how can I reach out to someone with more followers than me, because they're going to help me more. I want someone bigger. And I've learned over these last few years, that's not always the case. Here's a few quick examples. The first one was, we've worked with Speed, we've worked with Mr. Beast's team, but something I've learned is that one follower is a follower. It doesn't matter if it comes from a bigger creator. Yes, it helps, but you gotta lower the ego. And I'll be 100% honest, in the beginning it was hard for me. I only wanted the bigger creators. But I've learned, as I've worked with creators that are smaller than me, I can get just as many new followers. So sometimes when we're so focused on, I wanna do a collaboration with Nas Daily, I wanna do a collaboration with all these big names, find people smaller than you. Here's an example on my channel. I invite other smaller creators all of the time, because they have different audiences, they have different niches, and if your goal is to build a bigger following, this is a great way to do that. So for me, I would say, lower the ego a little bit. You don't need to go to the big guys. Find someone. If you have 10,000 followers, find someone with 5,000 followers, because those 5,000 could still come and follow you as well. Don't think that you only have to go with the bigger creators. The 8th step, monetize and reinvest. I think these ones have been driven home. Everybody understands that when you invest in yourself, you're investing in the future of you and your own content. The sooner that you reinvest in yourself and your company and everything you're doing, the faster it's going to grow. For me, one big thing that really helped was when I started hiring editors or cameramen. In the beginning, I filmed everything myself. I had to edit everything myself, but when I was editing, I didn't have time to film. Or while I'm filming, I don't have time to edit. So as we reinvest in our companies and ourselves and our teams, we're able to do more and grow more. One quick example was, I tell this to everyone whenever they reach out to me, what suggestions do you have for new creators? And I say, make something, sell something from day one. I always thought as a small creator, I need to have 1 million, I need to have 5 million, I need to have 10 million followers before I can sell a product, before I can do something good. And if I could go back and change anything along my journey, I would have started selling something earlier. For example, now I'm selling potato chips in Thailand, and it's going great. I mean, I have no complaints, but I always think, if I would have started selling this 10 years ago when I had 10,000 followers, where would it be today when I have 20 million followers? So I would suggest anybody on their content journey, don't think you have to have a large amount of following. I would take 100,000 followers who are spending money on the merchandise or the products. I would take that over 20 million people who just watch the videos and never come back. So that's my big suggestion as you're trying to build more followers and investing in yourself. The 9th step is build a community. When I first started my YouTube channel, I replied to every comment. I sat to every video, I commented to everyone, because I could build a connection with them. That goes back to, I think, number 6. Is build the connection by answering them, letting them know that you care about their feedback, about them watching the content. It helps build a true engaged audience, not just someone who sees your video and keeps scrolling. You want them to be engaged and you want them to be part of your audience. My last and final step, number 10, back to it again, consistency is key. Just a quick, simple example. If you take a bucket of water and dump it onto a rock, nothing's gonna happen. But if you take a drop of water and let it fall on that rock for tens of thousands of years, what's gonna happen? Erosion. And this is why consistency is so important as you make your content. Because as you make more videos, you can adjust, you can make changes, and you can keep growing in the correct direction that you want to go. So, in summary, the 10 steps of get the right mindset, set the right goals, be consistent, connect with your audience, collab with other creators, be consistent again, reinvest in yourself, build a community, adapt, and be consistent. I truly believe if you can follow these 10 simple steps, you'll be able to build a bigger following, you'll enjoy your life as a creator more, and the last and final thing to remember, if you forget anything else of everything I said, the most important thing to remember, consistency is key. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.